several years ago, I was in Los Angeles, California, and I was attending a seminar, and the person who was doing the teaching that day shared with us a book that he had written, and he'd written this book several years ago. And the book had to do with starting well in your life's work and your life ministry and just your walk with Christ. And it was very instructive, very beneficial. I got a lot out of the book, a lot out of the teaching, just encouraging those of us who were there in the room with him to set a steady course. Don't deviate from it. Make sure that you don't allow yourself to get distracted by the cares and the riches of the world, all the things that we're taught in the parable of the sower. It's a very good instruction, and I received it well. The thing about it is that I had also had another place that I wanted to attend, and that was a men's retreat back in Florida. So I left the conference, me and a fellow pastor friend of mine, flew back to Orlando, got in my friend's van, and we drove to the men's retreat. And by the time we got there, the retreat was already a day and a half old. And it's always strange coming into the middle of something like that. But it's fascinating, the topic that the teacher was teaching on. And it had to do with finishing well. And his area of instruction was simply to say that it's important that we not only start well, but that we also finish well, so that we are in a place that we've been said to be faithful at the end of our sojourn here on this life, so that it indeed would be said to each and every one of us as we cross that finish line, "Well done, thou good and faithful servant, enter thou now into the joys of the Lord." Well, you see, to me, those are precious words. Those are the words that I want to hear when my course is finished on this earth, to say that I have been faithful and I may enter into the joys of the Lord. But that requires me to be faithful to the end. And I mentioned this yesterday on the broadcast. Something that concerns me is that I'm running across more and more people who told me that there was a time that they were active in the churches, they were faithful to their churches, they were very much involved and participated, but they don't even go to church now. And when I hear people tell me this, it just kind of stuns me. And then I think about the harvest and the work that God has called us to be a part of, and the harvest of the church, that there would be others who would also receive the blessings of salvation and the message that God has implanted in our heart and given to us to be involved in. See, it's not just a matter of saying, well, I'm not going to church, but also means to in many instances, that they're not involved in the work of the ministry of the harvest either. And I believe that as we stand before God, we're going to be accountable. This is Pastor Jack King with the Gospel on the radio broadcast.